Hello, party people. It does not sound right when I say it. It's a Spencer line.
Yeah.
I'll think of my own. Think of my own. This is Honest Trailer Commentaries, the show about a show that talks about other shows. We hope you've watched the show that show's talking about, and then you watched that show so that then you can now watch this show where we go deeper on that show.
Yes.
And its thoughts on the show.
Yes.
This week, Batman the Animated Series.
Batman the
fun.
Animated Series. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
Spencer, by the way, is on vacation. He won't be here.
We let him go for a much deserved
earned vacation. His thoughts are in the trailer, as
Yes,
they always are.
absolutely.
But, yeah, this was super fun. Many people may ask why it's coming out on Blu-ray, which is really just the flimsiest of excuses to just do this.
Yeah,
trailer,
to just jump in and do Batman. Not? It was a little nerve-wracking to do right after Doctor Who.
Well, yeah, there was a time where I was sort of tackling both simultaneously. And
you had not slept.
It was really fun to jump between the two. You know, it's a very ponderous British sci-fi and then 90s ponderous animated programming.
I was surprised, and I guess I'll fold this into my overall thoughts about the series. I was surprised at how, because I was pretty like, we're going to do another series like right out, okay. And then as soon as I started watching Batman, like, I started clipping through and I was really enjoying it. It didn't feel like, I was worried it was going to feel like a huge chore after Who.
Yeah.
And, oh man, it was just...
It's a really good show.
Yeah.
And for people that are curious, for purposes of this trailer, if you go into the canon of Batman the Animated Series, there are 47 different ways to determine what is Batman the Animated Series. What we tackled for this trailer was there was a first season of 65 episodes. And then after that, they produced more episodes.
Yep.
Some of them were labeled as Batman the Animated Series. Some of them were labeled The New Adventures of Batman and Robin. And then you had other episodes that were a different animation style that were sort of like retroactively labeled Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, so that second round, it was just Batman and Robin.
Right.
Was that second round, which I think there might be some
of them
that still looked like Batman the Animated Series.
Right. There's a mixed animation style, so there are some people that's like, why didn't you talk about Mad Love, or why didn't you talk about A Bullet for Bullock, or why didn't you talk about this? It's because it was in that weird, like, we had to figure out where we're going to draw the line, and I think we all decided.
We take this very seriously.
We take this very seriously. These are the kind of discussions we have. We're like, if we want to be purists, we did. We're going to. These are the 65 that we're really going to burrow down into, because that was the heart of the series. Was that first season? Not to say that there weren't a lot of great episodes after that. But
even visually, like once you start mixing in one trailer, once you once you start mixing New Adventures of Batman and Robin, visually it all looks weird mashed up together because it looks like a very different show.
There might be one or two shots in this trailer I think that got mixed in.
Yeah, I think there's a Scarecrow shot.
There might be a Scarecrow shot in there. It happens. But I think largely where we were coming from was that base of like those first 65.
Which are just pretty untouchable.
And I mean, God, that show every day after school. I remember this is a huge deal. This was landed in a post-Batman Returns, pre-Batman Forever.
Yep.
Really kind of the height of the Batmania.
Yeah, and also Fox Kids Club was coming into its own.
Yeah.
And after watching cartoons after school was really like starting to give Saturday morning cartoons kind of a run for their money.
X-Men was ruling Saturdays.
Yep.
Batman was on in the daytime.
Yep. And then you actually helped me remember this because I was like, no, guys, X-Men was part of that block, but you helped me remember the Phoenix Saga was like a big special event.
Yes.
And then X-Men went back to Saturdays. But
Saturdays.
Tiny Toons,
Animaniacs, those are everyday cartoons.
Yeah. So did your kids' club have local teen hosts that hosted it? Mine did.
I briefly, I think at the very dawn of it, and then it went all national.
Yeah. Mine was like, I think her name was Kelly, and then Gil Gilster.
Gil Gilster?
Yeah, were our hosts. And it was like, hey kids, Gil Gilster here. And you can win a chance to see me and Kel like at the Louisville Science Museum. Like, come on out. Yeah. Now back to Tiny Toons.
It reminds me of there was the Nickelodeon kids host for a while was Stick Stickly.
I don't remember
just a popsicle stick named Stick Stickly.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Do you think he and Gil Gulster were friends?
Probably, definitely.
Gil Gulster and Stick
They would watch old videos of like the cat came back together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
you want to jump into this?
Let's jump into this because I'm sure we'll have a lot to say about Batman and Robin and Joker, and we have a controversial Joker take.
We do.
In this one.
We'll get there.
For the money, by the way, Kevin Conroy is, I think,
before he was swole, before he was existentially depressed, and before he was a cartoon.
Never leave the cave without him.
He was a swole, existentially depressed, literal cartoon in...
Oh, so tortured.
Batman, the animated series.
Yeah.
Returned to a time when pop culture wasn't oversaturated with superheroes.
They sell T-shirts of me.
Very few
I've
movies.
become a cliche.
Mantis, the
And
TV show.
shows,
still
yeah.
ruled after school. And dial-up internet give us a few precious minutes offline.
So we extended this.
Yeah. It's because there's a key noise that makes me laugh. That's the funniest part of the modem sound to me. I have opinions.
And spent some time with Kevin Conroy's iconic Bruce Wayne, an industrialist with the money of Tony Stark and the fashion sense of Dwight Schrute.
Pause.
But when
Very good.
This
pull,
was like
first of all,
a thunderbolt out of the blue. It was like the thunderbolt in the beginning of the series. I was looking at Bruce Wayne and I was like,
where have I seen?
I was like, yellow and brown. Like, what a weird combination. Like, who would wear a suit? Because I watch The Office, like anyone who has Netflix, constantly.
Yeah.
It's just in a constant cycle. We finish it and we just go back to the beginning. And I realized that the only person I'd seen, other than cartoon Bruce Wayne, wearing a yellow shirt and a brown suit was Dwight Schrute.
I want to think that they did that on The Office on purpose.
That he
like,
was...
As a kid, Dwight was like, that's how a man dresses.
Beats.
Yep.
Battlestar Galactica. Batman the Animated Series.
Fingers crossed that that's what they did.
Before he got obsessed with bears, it was Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the nostalgia of that modem noise.
Yeah, for people that, the younger generation,
Hey,
you'll never
kids.
know having to get off the internet so you could make or receive a phone call.
I remember trying to get online like after my parents had gone to sleep and just like, quiet. Sneak in.
Yeah, no, there's no,
And just being like,
there's no hiding it. Or the joy of picking up the receiver to just hear the sound of the internet. Yeah.
all right,
You'll never know.
JTE,
Dwight
let's go.
Schrute. But when night falls, this punchaholic will become the Batman.
Night falls,
the
by the way,
world's
pause.
greatest detective.
When night falls is inserted very purposely into this Honest trailer as a nod to a classic movie fights moment where Christian Harloff fooled us all by making up a movie called Night Falls, starring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
Can't find any information about it.
Yeah, he almost hoodwinked us, but yes, Night Falls.
Legendary.
If anybody's wondering, that is in there specifically as a reference to Christian Harloff's Night Falls. Continue.
Who's also the world's greatest ninja.
This was fun. Collecting
Greatest
things
hacker.
that Batman was
I've
trained
accessed
to do.
Gotham's electrical mainframe. There's another computer uplinked to this one. I'm tracing the link now.
Greatest magician.
I love the
got the
typing.
makings of
The
a
3-button keyboards.
And the greatest ventriloquist?
When I studied with Zatara the magician, he taught me about ventriloquism.
Wow, this Batman does a lot. But does he dance?
Nod to Adam West.
Oh yeah, the king. This was we couldn't think of a button for this, and we just went
Kevin
weird.
came up with a great punch thing too to really.
But this game isn't crusading solo.
Or TJ.
He has a whole cave full of allies, like Alfred Pennyworth, butler of Batman, but king of sick burns.
Clayface is losing his integrity.
I wasn't aware that he ever had any to begin with.
Oh!
Robin, the
That is one of my favorite Honest trailer moments in quite a while.
Yes.
Not in the version of the script that I did a draft on, and I think that wasn't actually written into the
No,
script.
that's Kevin and TJ.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for when you do these for long enough where everyone sort of gets on the same page and is able to sort of have a shorthand back and forth, and the fact that like post can take a script and start editing and literally pitch their own jokes like as they edit is really awesome because that's one of my favorite.
That is a 100% credit to Kevin and TJ for that one. Yep. The first time I saw that, I laughed my ass off. I think that's great.
Well done, gentlemen. Move on.
Robin, the boy wonder, as in, boy, I wonder what screwed him up between this show and Titans.
Yahoo!
Batgirl, a college kid whose relationship with bats is super creepy after you've seen the Killing Joke movie.
Barbara, come in. You've grown.
And Commissioner Gordon.
Pause. Now, yes, we know that probably, technically, the Killing Joke and Batman the Animated Series don't exist in the same universe. Same creative team, if I'm not mistaken, right? Same creative team behind both.
I think so-ish.
Definitely the same voice actors.
Yeah.
At least for Conroy and
also,
and Hamill.
still a pretty similar canon. Like,
yes.
She's not exactly, they're not exactly both 40.
Yeah,
you know?
I just remember watching that episode. It's I think this is the first time you see Barbara Gordon, and Bruce Amiz is like, Barbara, you've grown. I'm like,
now it's ruined.
Gross.
It's all ruined.
It's ruined. Yeah. So yes, we know that technically, but it's
still
it's a joke.
Why'd you guys do that?
Yeah. Why?
Because it was gross. Sex is gross.
Ugh. And Commissioner Gordon, a humble civil servant,
This was fun to
tormented
watch.
by a billionaire psychopath,
So
determined
originally,
to drive him insane.
Before we watched this, I had because we were working on Doctor Who. I had started trying to get ahead, just putting together the string outs myself, and one of them was Batman does this a lot. He will ghost. He will. What we don't get in is when he ghosts people, which is basically you're talking to him and you look up and he's disappeared. You're like Batman. But the other thing is he just pops up out of nowhere and scares people. And as
like Mike Myers,
like Michael Myers and Mike Myers, both of them. Very sneaky.
If I had a nickel
for every time Mike Myers snuck up on me.
It was just like, now it's time for sprockets.
But when we put the string outs together, I noticed how much he just tormented Commissioner Gordon.
It's mostly Gordon.
It's mostly Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Why? Just be like, hey, Jim, back here.
At some point, you have the conversation with the guy where you're like, I get it.
You can sneak in and out. That's great.
You can also just call me at this point. We don't have to have, like, I appreciate the mystique. I don't need to be a part of it.
Yeah. You can do the little, anybody home? Little knock on the windowsill. You know, you don't have to just emerge from the shadows.
I put a little wind chime that my young daughter Barbara made at summer camp out by the window. You can jingle that.
You'll
meet her sometime.
Remember when you knew her in elementary school?
Yeah, I'm sure
you creep.
You'll get along great someday.
Yeah, just gross. All right, let's watch Batman torturing Commissioner
Busy
Gordon.
night?
Helen, get me.
We need to talk.
He's on a phone call.
Why would you interrupt that?
Come back.
Oh.
Come on, give him a break, Bats. We all know you're a ninja. You don't have to keep proving it to Grandpa Cop, all right? Jeez.
Poor Grandpa Cop.
Together, they'll protect Gotham, a city trapped somewhere between 1932 and 1992. A town where the crime is up, the nights are long, and the people are rectangles.
That's all you.
That is a style choice that I noticed.
That is one of my favorite jokes in an Honest trailer in a long time.
There are some people drawn
more
rectangular than most.
Yes. Which, I love the style of the show. It's not ripping on it. It's just a really funny line.
Well, a lot of it is how they draw men's suits.
Yeah.
Because they're in the very classic kind of double-breasted style, but all of the men's suits are drawn with like a squared off bottom and then a straight side. It's so like even Batman himself is kind of tapered. But Bruce Wayne is very much a rectangle.
And everybody's all the designs are so simplified that it's all just like polygons of some sort with clothes thrown on them. Yeah. Anyway, but the crime is high, the nights are hot, and the people are rectangles.
Sometimes you just notice that there's a lot of rectangle men around.
It's a city under siege from the best rogues gallery in animation history, featuring character-defining portrayals of Two-Face.
You're talking to the wrong Harvey.
This influenced every
Mr. Freeze.
This really influenced every portrayal of Mr. Freeze.
And then they added puns.
Yes.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, pleased to meet
Pause.
ya.
Pause.
Do people know that Harley Quinn was introduced in Batman the Animated Series? I mean, I'm sure Batman fans do.
Yeah, Batman fans, I'm sure do. I guess we could have pointed it out a little better in this, maybe. But
well, I think
that is literally the character defining.
Yeah, I think we point out that originally the draft had that it was the introduction, but it seemed
easier to
just say Harley Quinn because that is the defining. I mean, that is the portrayal that still is her character.
This is I think it's the show that made her and Ivy sort of an inseparable pair.
Yeah. There's a great episode called Harley and Ivy,
Yeah.
which is the two of them on the lam.
Yeah, and the comics ran with that, and I think we're getting a movie.
Maybe getting a movie out of it. Yeah. The animated series flavored Batman to this day, as far as how it portrayed. Mr. Freeze, I don't think had that whole Nora Freeze backstory, and like that was really cemented by the show.
Yeah.
The idea, I think, of
And if it was in the comic, because I can't remember it. If it was in the comics, like that performance and that style, like that's
Mr. Freeze. Yeah. And here comes the controversy.
The best Joker ever. Yeah, I said it.
I think it is.
He is.
And a bad menagerie worth of animals.
He hits every beat of it equally. The homicidal maniac part,
the anarchy, the chaos,
the fun, the funny, the jokes, the quips, like everything about the Joker. And I think that goes to every character in the show. Every aspect of the character that's been delved into over the years for Batman, for the Joker, is, I think, all represented extraordinarily well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, this is the show that gave him, again, a sentient clown robot that did his bidding on that garbage barge.
That's true.
Yeah.
Captain
Clown.
Clown.
You killed Captain Clown.
Mark Hamill, speaking of lightning bolt moments, I cannot tell you how it was one of the shocks of my young life when I learned that Luke Skywalker did the voice of the Joker.
Yeah,
I could not contemplate a reality where that was.
I found out way later,
how could that be true? That can't be true. That's not possible.
Yeah, that's not. No.
Yeah.
I wasn't. Growing up as a nerd, I wasn't like as much as I need to know what's inside of this and makes it tick. Like I just watched stuff and enjoyed it. And I didn't realize it was Mark Hamill until way, way later.
Well, the voice actors, if you watch the end credits for a Batman show, the voice actors fly by criminally fast.
They got to get to Power Rangers.
For the talent that they had.
Yeah.
Like some of the great, they had Richard Mall doing Two-Face, and they had Mark Hamill. They had John Vernon, who was in Animal House. He was a recurring voice. They had I think Roddy McDowell doing the Mad Hatter. They had some like really good people.
But those credits would fly.
But those credits would fly by, and you never see it.
Yeah, because Power Rangers is already starting.
Exactly.
And,
So yeah, the day that I learned that the Joker and Luke Skywalker were the same person.
I think the story is he reached out because he wanted to be involved in the show. He did like a one-off character.
Maybe.
And was like that.
Well, because he'd been on Flash. He was
the trickster.
The trickster on Flash.
And they were, I think, they had a Joker, and then he didn't work out, and so Hamill went in to read for it. And I was reading like one of those oral histories of the show, and they were just watching him in there, and they're like, "Oh God, that's it."
I mean, respect to Luke Skywalker. I know people love Luke Skywalker, but him as the Joker, that might be my favorite.
He's amazing. His the Joker in Mask of the Phantasm is so awesome. He's got so many great lines.
Yeah.
It's just a good Joker.
It's a great Joker.
Just a really, really good Joker.
Not taken away from the other Jokers.
But
some of them, but not the good ones. Yeah.
Little.
I like this Joker the best.
Yeah.
This is me.
Yeah. Add us. Or don't add us.
And a bad menagerie's worth of animals.
It's another fun thing to notice as you're watching all of them is how often he's fighting. I think it's because of standards. Like, you can gas and punch. Like you can gas a snake. I guess that's less troubling to the boards.
Maybe you should stick to something less threatening.
I don't know.
Like a penguin.
It's weird.
Now, Roberta.
Oh, here it is. A bad one.
Nice shot.
Pause. This is from an episode called "I've Got Batman in My Basement," which I believe even the creators of the show have acknowledged is the worst episode of Batman the Animated Series. There's very little Batman in it, and the Penguin is, as you can see, apprehended by two children.
It's very exciting. You know what? When I see people argue for worst, and I think they're dumb for it. You know the episode where Bruce gets amnesia and goes to jail, and he like fights that mob boss in jail. There's like no Batman in the episode until like right at the very end.
Like where he's undercover?
No, he's undercover. He like straight up can't remember who he is.
Oh, that happened a couple times then.
Okay.
There's one where he's the homeless guy.
There's one. It's like
he gets knocked out and he can't remember who he is, and he
that might be it. The mob boss is like always eating a turkey leg.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that's a great episode. I see that on a lot of lists of like, there's not even any Batman in this episode, and it's like, what? Okay, it's still good.
Yeah.
That's a favorite of mine. But yeah, you got a really good rogues gallery, and man, Penguin just
Penguin got the short end. Penguin did not. Danny DeVito was the far superior.
Yeah.
As well as Burgess Meredith. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. He sucked in this show.
Yeah, he wasn't great.
Moving on.
So light up the bat signal and revisit the highs.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
And the lows.
You've made her a monster.
Tiger, when Catwoman is turned into an actual cat.
Of the darkest adaptation of Batman ever made. Literally the darkest, because they drew it on black paper that wasn't afraid to hit kids with complex philosophy.
Santayana says that those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it.
Then break it up with a guy kicking a werewolf in the face.
If it's a fight you're looking for, try starting one with me.
Suplexing a
CDC,
crocodile.
that's all we want. A definitive portrait of a beloved character that balances multiple tones across dozens of hours that can only happen with a perfect creative team and lands at the perfect time in the cultural zeitgeist. Is that so hard?
I'm sure so. By the way, amazing work from Robert
Holtby.
Holtby. He made that
Killed
from
it.
scratch. Incredible. Yeah, that was a little bit of. I feel like this is the standard that people hold Batman to, and there were so many things that had to go right for this to actually work, and they all went right, and that's very rare. This and X-Men somehow happened at the same time, and both went as right as they could go.
There's something too I love when you start reading about like the making of the show, how it just seemed like this thing that was never going to get off the ground, and like you read the oral history and they're like, oh god, they're going to let us do this? We got to put together a team now.
Yeah.
And they're literally like walking around to buddies over at Tiny Toons like, hey, we're making a Batman cartoon. You want to come make a Batman cartoon? And someone's like, yeah, I'm in. You want me to tell Tony? Tony!
I'll make a Batman.
I'll make a Batman cartoon. Yeah, it's just that team assembling and yeah, it's the lightning striking in right place at the right time for all of these people, and I don't understand how they. I mean, props to the Fox executives because I don't understand how, because they made like a short that was literally, I think it was just a fight scene, a Batman fight scene, and considering that the two things that were major from Batman was still Adam West and
Tim
Burton. Burton had just come out, but those were more like weird.
Yeah.
And they had already gotten the pushback of kid-friendly companies, McDonald's and stuff. Being like,
Batman
we don't want
Returns
anything
was
to do with
not.
this.
Yeah, this didn't come out after the first Batman movie. This came out after Batman Returns, which had been sort of like a lot of people said like, oh, this is too dark.
Yeah,
and to do an actual dark Batman
crazy.
show is crazy.
And the creators over at X-Men the Animated Series have said the same thing. Have really like sung a lot of praises to the executives at that time for.
Yeah. Well, because Fox was, what do they have to lose?
Yeah,
they had literally nothing to lose.
Yeah,
they'd never done this before.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Hygiene-related insults.
Listen up, scumwad. Here's
Him
how
and
it
Wolverine
works.
would have a great back and forth.
All right, scum bucket.
Scum bucket, gutter trash.
Breaking and entering.
What do you want?
As Professor Crane lost his appetite.
Again, sneaking up on people, but also entering their
Who's back there?
Without permission. Great Ghost, great episode.
That is a great
Just
episode.
terrible
Adam West,
marksmanship.
the voice of the Great Ghost. Batman should have been dead many times over.
Yes.
Look at that. He's point blank.
Now,
what's he shooting at?
Pause.
Maniacal laughter.
To be fair, I have shot an AK-47.
Yes.
And it is hard to hit anything with an AK-47.
But this guy's not even. Batman's not even there, man. Like, look at him.
Yeah,
Play
I mean,
that.
sometimes like
He's just shooting at a wall,
that guy's
man.
just shooting.
He's just shooting to shoot.
and to be
Look
fair,
at that.
I feel like if I was that close, I couldn't. Yeah.
Just don't shoot at that point.
Just hit him with the gun.
You know where he is. Yeah, just run over and whap him in the face. And you know where he is. Run over and shoot into the elevator.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Come on.
All right.
Sorry.
Maniacal laughter.
This is just a cartoon trope. They love to have the bad guys take a little.
Clock King.
Yeah.
I'm the only one in the world who like Clock King.
Batman's O-face.
Look how the eyes.
Yeah.
He's become triangles.
Jack-o'-lantern
Gas
eyes.
attacks.
So there were always non-lethal ways to incapacitate people, because there were some standards.
Yeah. You can't just have sex with
Gotham
friend's
City
college-age
exploding.
daughter. Murder people.
So fires and explosions were a frequent theme, obviously.
Yep. But more than I remembered.
Yeah, no, every episode, Gotham City's the most flammable city on the face of the planet.
Stop shooting, you lunatic! We're sitting on a powder keg!
And BatmanThumbsUp.gif. Nope,
Which I think we did for Batman Forever, but
that's the one.
Yeah, it's a callback.
Yeah.
This
Hopefully.
Batman
So
Forever.
good.
Okay, we need to talk about the intro for a second.
This is all
Has
taken
anyone
over.
else noticed that the crooks are just two guys who happen to be walking past the bank at night? Then when the entrance explodes, they run away like any sane person
This
would
was
do?
literally just
they don't
Spencer
even have any
talking
loot on
and
them.
just
People
people
are
writing
trying
it
to
down,
pull guns
yeah.
on Batman. But
Well, he
for all they know,
summarized
he's
it.
the psycho
Yeah.
going around blowing up banks. And Batman doesn't know who did it either. He had to drive there. But does that stop him from beating the crap out of him and leaving him for the cops without any evidence to convict him on? This is why vigilantes are a bad idea, you guys.
Yeah, so that originally Spencer had that stream of thought, and then he summarized it for the tag, and we were just like, no, dude.
Yeah,
Spell it out, man. Because
so,
I never thought about that, but it's hilarious. There's no evidence whatsoever tying those two to the crime.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite moments that happens working here, because Spencer and I sit our backs are to each other, and you know that like he's thought of something that like is really good when you get this. So
you get the
how do we know those guys robbed the bank? Like, it just like dives into it. And you're like, yeah, we're getting a so from Spencer.
Yeah,
I know this will be funny.
The so's are good. If you get a so from Spencer, that means he's like a bloodhound.
Strapping in.
It's like a bloodhound that's caught the scent, and you're just gonna let him off the leash and just go, boy.
Yeah, in this case, there was a much shorter version, and we were like, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Let's
riff.
live with this.
Let Spencer riff. Like a jazz musician.
Yeah,
I learned that from La La Land.
You just gotta. It's like, it's just so special. Is that what he says? I can't remember what he says. Do we have any deleted scenes?
Yeah, did we delete anything?
Do we have extras?
I am vengeance.
We do.
I am the night.
Oh.
I am the 90s.
The alt titles.
Batman,
That's right.
the underrated series.
We feel it's properly
Gotham
rated.
for kids.
That was one.
The sadly dead parents.
It's fun.
It was fun.
You're sure there's no one you want to call first? Friends, family, husband, maybe?
Smooth bats.
This Batman
real
gets it.
smooth.
Oh man.
Considering how easily everything in this city catches fire, maybe a fleet of police blimps was a bad idea.
I love the Gotham fleet of police dirigibles
Now,
so much.
Did not that have to be changed because John cursed you for writing the word dirigible into the script?
He was not happy that I put the word dirigible in the script.
Yeah.
What actually? So many props to John. That last run about all we want is millions of hours and blah blah blah. The original end section also mentioned launching the DC animated universe.
Yes.
And so the rant was something like, "See DC, that's all we want, just millions of hours of blah 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 that we've poured over since childhood that do this and this and this and this and this." And it was just this one long run-on sentence.
Yeah.
And like,
And we never used it.
8 takes into it, John was just like, "I'm going to kill you." But I'm gonna, and so Spencer was like, Joe wrote it. Well, let's fix it. Let's fix it. And he was like, no, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get, and he did. He nailed it. It was
And
fun.
then we rewrote the whole thing.
And then we rewrote the whole thing. Yeah.
Sorry, John.
But you nailed it, buddy.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he didn't nail it.
But I am putting the word dirigible into every script.
Dirigible goes into every script from now on. So that's Batman, Joe.
That is Batman.
Great show.
This is a great show. Obviously not without its lows, but what over what 65 episodes?
Well, again, it depends on how you count. A lot of people count it to 85 or more. It just depends on where you stop and start the cycle.
And out of that, I think there were like 4 that I could do without.
Yeah, there were very few that I was just like, Every one of them they were entertaining.
Yeah.
I love the title cards, like the old school,
the Art Deco like,
kind of, the show was really well done. So, yay.
Yeah, it's just so good. It launched Justice League and
Superman.
That was the cool thing about
Spider-Man.
Spider Blood, radioactive spider blood.
People keep asking us to do that. I don't think it holds up as well as they think it holds up.
Yeah.
That CG intro.
That was bad. Yeah, that was not good. And that's a
was not
weird
great.
song too.
It's really weird.
I don't know what they were going for.
Ooh,
but I know this is, and obviously things have to change and evolve at some point. But for the longest time, the fact that these designs sort of like unified all of DC animation visually was such a cool feat. Like that was awesome. Yeah, no, great show. It's a classic.
It is a classic, and you should see it if you haven't.
You absolutely should watch it. That's it. That's the show.
Now that Batman's gotten a Blu-ray, where's that X-Men? Where's that X-Men?
We need
Blu-ray?
that X-Men animated series
Fox?
Blu-ray.
Who owns it? Who owns that? Fox? I'm guessing Fox owns that. Marvel?
Yeah, I guess Disney now.
Whoever owns it.
Put it out.
I want that X-Men Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Remaster it. I saw some screenshots from the Batman remastering it. Oh my god.
It looks real pretty.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Give me that X-Men.
Give us that X-Men.
Give us that X-Men.
And we will give you a clue for next week's Honest Trailer.
I think we might stay animated, Joe.
Yeah.
We might even stay in this genre.
Okay.
But jump back over to the feature side.
That sounds great.
Yeah. That's all we're going to give them.
Yep. See you guys next week.